This lesson will discuss MySQL command line access. Topics include: how do you access a MySQL database from the command line? How do you get help? How do you access a database? How do you get information on tables in a database? How do you get information on columns in a table? And how do you get out of the command line? The easiest way to access the MySQL database from the command line is to move over to your XAMPP panel and to activate the XAMPP shell. Alternatively, depending on your operating system, you can open up a terminal window or a command line prompt, depending on your operating system, and from there, you just simply type in MySQL. If you have a specific user that you've identified for your MySQL system, you can also type in MySQL-U and identify the username. If you also wish to put the password on the same line, you can add another option -P and indicate the password. Once you're in the command shell, the next question is, how do you get help? You'll notice that there are prompts along the way, so you can simply type in help, \H, or the question mark. This gives you some help information to help you move along to your next step. What about databases? How do you find out about databases? The answer is there are a series of commands that start with show. One of them is show databases. This gives you information about the various databases that are currently available on your MySQL server. The information_schema database is specific for MySQL itself. In addition, it's utilized by phpMyAdmin. Although you can look at this database, it's advised that you do not alter it directly. Rather, you should use the tools to modify this particular database. In order to utilize this database, we type in use, followed by the name of the database. You'll notice that all commands are terminated with a semicolon. Now we wish to see what tables are available within the database. For that purpose, we have a command show tables. We now have a list of tables within this particular database. We can then scroll up and down and get more specific information about this. As you can see, this is a system-specific database. So for example, we want to get information about privileges. We could have a look at the privileges table. So the next question is how to look at columns within the table. The answer is, as you might have guessed, show columns from and give it the name of the table. We now see that there are 6 columns. We have an idea of the data type, which will be explained in another lesson, whether or not null is allowed, whether or not it's a key, defaults, and then extra information. We can also see there's performance information, which gives us an idea of the amount of time taken for the query and an indication of the nature of the results, in this case, 6 rows. Finally, how would you get out of the system? The answer is you simply type in exit. To exit the terminal, you can type in exit again. So in review, how do you access a MySQL database from the command line? You would use the MySQL command from a command shell or terminal window. How do you get help? You can type in question mark. How do you access a database? You can use the show databases command followed by the use command and the name of the database. All commands from the command line must be terminated with a semicolon. How do you get information on tables in a database? Once you've used the database, you can then issue the command show tables, again followed by a semicolon. How do you get information on columns in a table? You'd use the command show columns, the word from, followed by the name of the table, terminated with a semicolon. And finally, how do you get out of the MySQL command prompt? You simply type exit. This concludes our discussion of command line access.